Hey guys, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and for the past 10 years, I've been reviewing MMOs. Obviously, been playing them for longer, and the first one I ever played was actually RuneScape. So let's go ahead and unpack that one. Yeah, the first game that I ever played online was RuneScape, and that is why it's making the list. The first one that I want to talk about is for MMO games that I made the most friends in, which is a very personal, very ranty sort of list video, but hopefully it could kind of elucidate some things and how you play games and maybe give you some ideas. But yeah, obviously, the first MMO I ever played is one that I made friends in. And I think the mentality of making friends in MMOs, it takes two to tango, and a lot of people become jaded or cynical. I especially know that. I don't add people in MMOs now, at least right now, currently. I add them on Discord or on YouTube, and how you play games just kind of changes over time with technology and your own personality. But your very first MMO, you are so full of wide-eyed wonder, it kind of just doesn't matter. You don't know many of the mechanics, you don't know much about the game, you don't know really anything. You're really just a baby-faced kind of noob, and it makes you want to ask questions. And you don't know what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate. You're gonna embarrass yourself, but it's in those awkward teenage sort of situations that you do actually make friends. In the stress and anxiety of a whole world filled with people who know everything more than you and will probably cringe at how stupid you are, actually, there's a ton of people who will help you. There's a ton of people who are right there with you. There's a ton of people who maybe you can even help yourself as you begin to play the game. And so yes, RuneScape is a game that has lots of puzzles and riddles, and it has a couple of quests, especially in the free-to-play zone, where you can interact with other players, trade items with them, and directly cooperate with them. It can definitely help. Now, RuneScape is not a great guildish game. It's not a great game to literally co-op through, or it's not exactly open like some other MMOs, but in the end, RuneScape being my first MMO, in the way that the quests are designed, really, I think, incentivizes people to kind of just chat it up a little bit. You know, just a little bit. And since it was my first MMO, I chatted it up a whole lot. Bonus points, though, for RuneScape having, you know, like drop parties, for having, of course, the ability to trade, but even the ability to change text and make it funny colors and stuff like that. I like the emotes inside of the game, even. Like, small little things like that go so far. In fact, there's been some times where I've played MMOs, and if I can't slash dance, I'm immediately turned off. Emotes and how you can talk to people changes everything, and that's actually why I kind of love Fallout 76. I love the icons that they show. It just makes it big and bold and very clear what people are emoting and doing, and I think just any sort of tool for communication is really, obviously key for making friends or just having social interactions in MMOs. And so, RuneScape being my first, I was just very prone to use all of what the game had to offer, and probably abused it just a little bit as a noob. So, I'm sure you guys have a very similar story with whatever MMO was your first MMO. So if you're just getting into this genre, don't worry, you don't have to play RuneScape to make friends. But this was the game that I did make friends in because I didn't know anything. So I want you guys to feel okay with that. It is okay to be ignorant. It's okay to be dumb. Okay, it's okay to be a noob. Just live it up, and actually, people do appreciate you. People love getting people into the games that they love, and, you know, very quickly you'll get good at the game, and very quickly you'll be helpful to your friends that you make, helpful to your guild. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. Just be open, honest, just allow yourself to be a noob, roleplay that character, and eventually you will also roleplay as the veteran that is helping the next noob after you. Next up, we actually have a departure. This one was very weird and very unique to me, actually. But this is where I want to incentivize you guys to approach games from a different perspective, especially in terms of like the modern era. If you're somebody who's a little bit older, and I know as an adult it's actually very difficult to make friends, but you should be using tools that are more outside of the game. Sure, we can still criticize games for not giving us communication tools or forcing us to group together, but yeah, you should be using Discords, maybe even posting on social media. You should be using it's called social media. Use every tool at your disposal if you want to socialize. That is kind of how you do things now, especially super big focus on Discord. And so that is why I'm going to be talking about a game called Darkfall. Darkfall is making the list because it is probably the worst MMO that I've ever played. It is not a good MMO, and yet, technically in some ways, it's kind of the best. it has physics-based interactions. You know, it's actually have like arena shooter sort of inspiration with fireballs, and you know, interactions with that. Changing around different spells feels kind of like changing around different weapons, like from the railgun to shotgun, things like that. It's fireball, switch to sword. Yeah, use a speed boost, whatever. Summon a tornado, shoot a fireball through it. It's really intense. It's a very mechanically intensive game, and it's also incredibly brutal, hardcore, and it's such a hardcore PvP game that it bred probably the most toxic community I have ever seen in my life, to such a point that its own community kind of doesn't refer to itself as the Darkfall community. They refer to themselves as the Forum Fall community. So if you've ever been to, you know, random on 4chan, maybe certain forums on Reddit like MMORPG, yeah, you know that people can get really toxic, really cynical, and it creates an entirely new ecosystem. And sometimes, like, the video game isn't the game itself. It's more of the metaverse. It's more of like the forums. It's more about the memes and posting. And this is actually where I made the most amount of my frenemies. And so yes, I made a tremendous amount of enemies with my negative review on this game for this niche community. You know, they basically just hated me. But in all that hate and all the vitriol, all the pain and suffering that I went through, actually, there was a number of people who helped me. You know, they wanted to see this underdog story come to life. They wanted to see me, who had such a negative opinion on the game, they wanted to change my mind. And it was really awesome for that unique interaction. So maybe kind of a little bit less inside of the game, but then again, what even is an MMO? An MMO to me is the cosplay posts. It is the weird meme videos. It is the guides. Playing an MMO is all of that, even sometimes just sitting in Discord talking about your adventures inside of the game, which I am now literally doing with this Darkfall section. So yeah, Darkfall made it kind of because it's a bad game. So this is the moral of the story. Play whatever game you want, even if it's mixed reviews like the new Bless Unleashed. Maybe if it's an old game that nobody seems to play, there might be something special there that you have a lot of fun with. And even actually particularly the niche games like private server games like Warhammer or Toontown Rewritten, these games might actually come to life because they're small, because they're niche. You might find yourself kind of home in the suburbs of this gated community MMO. Maybe you're gonna find enemies, maybe you'll be pushed out, but it is a maybe, and there is potential there is possibilities. And even though they are a smaller community, I have to attribute, objectively, Darkfall is one of the games that I had some of the most, you know, meaningful social interactions ever. So you don't just gotta go play the biggest, most popular games out there. It can be any of them, and sometimes maybe more likely the smaller games. If you guys want list videos on niche MMO or private server MMOs or things like that, underrated MMOs, let me know in the comments below. And finally, which I know is probably going to have a lot of question marks and not quests markers show up above your heads, it's going to be the game Minecraft. If you guys don't know, Minecraft actually does have MMO servers that exist. You can go and you can even make your own, really, and it can host, you know, lots of players, and it can feel like a living, breathing world because it is. It's literally building blocks, breaking blocks, fighting bosses. There's raids, even if you think about it. Depending on the add-on, you'd like straight up make a full MMORPG inside of Minecraft. And really, my favorite was the first time I ever played online was a townie server, which means you can actually have plots of lands and, you know, maybe somebody's a potion brewer, maybe somebody has a skill or a trade, and basically you trade resources so that you can keep building up your town, and you probably want more people to join your town than others, and that was pretty much the goal, is to just have sort of a utopic city inside of these servers, and I played that full-heartedly. I loved it so much. The server I played on doesn't exist anymore, but man, I just had such a time, made amazing memories with it, and it was some of the truest PvP I've ever had in some of these servers. It was the truest Sandbox experience that I've ever had, and honestly, just in general, yeah, Minecraft is fun. Sure, I'm not gonna rant about that, but in terms of MMO, the ability to just be creative is so underrated in online games. It's always, you know, like an endgame raid, it's always like this very specific quest line. It's almost always like, you know, maybe you can fish, maybe you can do this or that, but the sandbox elements are very theme parked, as in they're very specific rides. But in Minecraft, there really is such a freedom, especially with player control. And there really is not another MMO that I can attribute to making the most amount of friends in because of how open and unique the interactions can be and how many unique servers exist in Minecraft. Really, this is cheating by just saying Minecraft. I should say maybe like the MMO server Winecraft, or maybe some variants of Hypixel, or many others. I played these, and yeah, the server I played on was Epicsburg. There's so many different servers, and it's not Minecraft exactly. It's actually their own games. You know, like Winecraft is its own game. It looks like Minecraft and feels like Minecraft, except it has spells and levels and quests and, you know, literal cinematics. Actually, Minecraft, it kind of vibes a lot like RuneScape, so if you like that, check it out. But these games, man, it was so fun bringing friends in, and it was so fun bringing friends out of Minecraft as well. Making friends in them, saying hello, and then maybe playing Overwatch with them. Maybe going in and playing some other game with them, some other MMO, and bringing them with me. But that's what the dream was in Minecraft. It's a game where people can just do whatever they want. In so many different servers, you're allowed to freely hop between them. Something I also really do appreciate about RuneScape, hopping between servers. But I just love the zero divide mentality of Minecraft. See, if you play a lot of MMOs, you have specific servers, which sometimes even have specific people. Like, this is for the role players, this is for the PvPers, this is for the endgame raiders. And then you're stuck in that server forever. But RuneScape, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it doesn't matter what kind of player you are, it doesn't matter if you're new and experienced, it doesn't even matter if you play the server or not, play a bunch of other different servers, you can always jump in and play. And because of that melting pot sort of concept, yeah, it's the American dream. Minecraft is the American dream, which I don't believe in anymore, but that's a tangent. But in the end, just the idea of so freely being able to socialize, obviously, Minecraft is going to be up there. And frankly, if I were to just say just games in general, a similar title to Minecraft, Roblox, actually making a ton of friends in Roblox. So these sort of titles, definitely want to champion those. If you want to make friends, look for the MMOs that allow you to freely hop servers, freely play with different people, and to have a wide breadth of different types of gameplay. You know, maybe something like Guild Wars 2 is a really great example as well. But anyways, I do only have 3 examples, and that's because of the very specific types of games that they are, and what they kind of meant for me in my personal life, and how I interacted with those games and how I made friends, each in very unique ways that I think you can sort of like extrapolate and bring to different genres of MMO. But I think we can start to see the pitfalls of many MMOs, and we can also see what they kind of do right. But in the end, just know, just sort of the moral of the video is if you're not making friends in an MMO, it probably isn't just you. Everyone is sort of running around, wandering around, and playing for very different reasons. Some people do just love playing alone, and that's okay too, but you're only alone until you're not. So, you know, maybe dip your toes into a Discord server. Maybe slap down some comments on your favorite streamer's stream or something like that. You never know. Just put yourself out there. Just be in the field, you know, slapping some hogs around or whatever. Maybe you'll meet a girlfriend. I don't know. Anything can happen. Just put yourself out there and give it a shot. But yes, there are some games that it makes it easier than others to make friends, to make enemies, or to have social interactions. And if you guys want list videos on those, like what are the most social MMOs, or what are the most, you know, MMOs that are best to meet people in or make friends in, that's something that I'm exploring very deeply right now. That's definitely my character arc. So if you guys want to play with me, please do join my Discord in the comments below. Like, subscribe so that you know whenever I stream. And all I really can ask is you keep the hype alive. All right, guys. I'll see you again next time.